What's up, my pitch for people? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host Rich, and I'm here with Alex from Chelsea Fan TV. Crystal Palace won, Chelsea won. Alex, how do you feel about the game?
No, I think it was a fair result. A lot of fans are saying, MARESCA was terrible. We didn't do anything well. I'm like, come on, have a break. I don't think Palmer had the best game in the world, but it's like Robert Sanchez at times. He had one good thing, he had one bad thing. We conceded the goal because he gave it away, but we scored the goal because of his quality. And Jadon Sancho, great assist as well. So I think it's a fair result.
Yeah, people have been on Enzo Maresca's back the past few games. As you know, we're winless in 4 games now. Do you think this is just a learning curve for him to grow as a manager? As we know, it's his second season as a professional manager. So do you think people are just being unfair on him?
You just got to get to know the team. You've got to get to know the team, and ultimately, that's like any manager. So, especially when he comes in and he said, I wasn't given a goal. So he wasn't told, oh, you got to get top 4, you got to win the league. He wasn't told that, based on what he said publicly. So that tells me that he's going to get time. And he should get time. Just like I think, last season at least, I would have said the same thing. In fact, I did say the same thing about Pochettino. These players are young, inexperienced, they've not played for Chelsea, they've not played together, they've never won trophies with Chelsea, most of them. So we just rebuilt, we stripped everything that we had that produced a winning culture, and then we just said, oh, we're going to put new players in, new managers, new staff, new everything, and it's just going to click our fingers and start winning trophies. It doesn't work like that. So from my side, I think the project's actually going pretty well.
Yeah.
Would have been nice to pick up a trophy last season, but Maresca's absolutely outdone himself. I mean, I didn't understand why we signed him, if I'm honest, but I thought he was the best out of what we were looking at, because at least he wants to be a part of this project. He's not going to have problems with the board. He's working with the players that we bring in. Even if he doesn't want them, he's still working with them, and he plays a style of football that's sustainable. It's not basketball. It's quite slow at times, but listen, you've got X amount of games. Top teams. When we had Thomas Tuchel years ago, we played more than 60 games in a season, and that's the way football's going for the top teams. So you can't afford to play basketball every time. So people saying, oh, it's boring, I don't enjoy watching it. We didn't say that when we beat Wolves 6-2. We didn't say that when we beat Newcastle. We didn't say that in all these other games. So I think that fans just need to take it with a pinch of salt. It's like anything. You have good times and you have your dips as well. This is a dip. It's not a bad dip, to be totally honest. I mean, we've never done well at Everton. Ipswich, they needed to win at home at some point. And Fulham are actually playing really good football this year. If you look at Palace, we've never actually done that well here either. And even if we did win, we never won comfortably.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think this is a fair result. Like, I'm not that bothered, to be honest with you. We're not in a title race anymore. I did think we were, but definitely top 4. I still feel comfortable.
Yeah. So what do you think the issue has been the past 4 games?
Well, we had the Sassy. He was definitely an issue. I really like Josh Achimpong. Yeah. I thought he had a great game. Really, really good distribution. When you're playing against Mateta as well, that's not easy. That's not easy because this is your first ever Premier League game starting. What is he, 18 years old? I don't even know. He's not exactly small, but still, you're playing against a physical player. You've got to make your presence known, and you've got to be careful. You've got to be smart. It's not just about barging people. You've got to defend properly. And I think he did that. So, I was happy with that Chimpong. I think almost the result takes away from him. We should really be thinking more about him. I mean, Colwell after the game pushed him forward and said, go on, take the applause. But I can understand that people aren't exactly happy. I thought Robert Sanchez was good. I thought he was stable. Yeah, he gave the ball away a couple of times, but generally speaking, I think he did more good than bad. Nicholas Jackson, I can understand why Maresca didn't take him off until like the 80th minute. I can understand why, because you've got to remember, if you're a striker in that position as well, like, you wouldn't do that with Haaland. You wouldn't do that with a lot of these other players. You wouldn't see Guardiola taking him off. Ultimately, Jackson's actually one of the highest, he's one of the best strikers in the league at the moment. He just is. Look at the numbers. And he's creating a lot of chances for himself, and then he just needs to score it. So it's a numbers game. If you're taking him off after 60 minutes, I don't think that's the way to do it. From a long-term development side of things, you've got to build the player's confidence. He's the number one. If he's not scoring, fine. Give Guiu?
Yeah.
Give Guiu a chance, that's fine, but Guiu's not proven himself. So why are you saying give 50% of the minutes to Guiu in a match like this when you know that Jackson's gone and won you games? And also people saying stop mine's gone blank. When he toe punts it, they say don't do that outside of the foot curler. Like, he did it against West Ham, he's done it in other games. He's perfectly capable of doing it. His finishing's been really, really good. He's bound to have a dip at some point. When we signed him from Villarreal, he had the highest conversion in the league at that time. So for me, I don't know why people are getting so upset, but I mean, generally Chelsea fans aren't. It's just a small thing.
Yeah, exactly. As you said, Jackson, people have been talking about online on Twitter, Instagram, that we need to go out into transfer market for a striker or even a midfielder, because Enzo Caicedo have been playing many games. They play about 8 games in a row now. So what do you think about that January transfer window? Do we delve into the market?
Well, it depends who we bring in, right? If we sell Disasi, then apparently we've been linked with Tomori. I think that's a great deal. We get for 20-25 million. That's great business. Especially considering we sold him for around the same amount, so we haven't lost any money there. We've gained a player with more experience, he's won trophies, he's been a part of problem as well, and he has a lot of the qualities we want for as well. He's relatively versatile. He can play, I think he can play as a right back as well as a centre back, and he's got those qualities that you want from Fofana. But it's the same as Josh Achimpong as well, because you've got him. He can do what Tosin does with the height, but then he's also aggressive like Fofana as well. We definitely need some reinforcements in the midfield. We don't need to spend any money. We just need to recall Ugochukwu from Southampton.
Yeah.
That would make sense. He was good in pre-season. He was a dark horse as well, and capable of scoring goals. He did that.
So you reckon we leave Andre Santos as Strasbourg?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to hinder his development. I think look, he's developing fine. We don't need Santos. We don't need him this season. Next season, he comes in and he's probably a starter, if I'm honest. If Fernandes has a dip, Santos is perfectly capable of coming and filling that gap. And then up top, people are saying we need a striker as well. But that's not going to be a short-term issue. That's something we do in the summer. If Ipswich get relegated, it's an easy conversation. You get the lap. I think City might have a buyback clause, but also it's up to the player as well. And if you compete against Haaland for minutes and you compete with Nicholas Jackson, I think that the move to Chelsea is pretty attractive as well, and he'll get a nice long contract. So, January, we'll probably defensive midfield, but we don't have to spend a lot of money. I'd say if there's one position, maybe a centre-back, and that's it. But if we get rid of Disasi, it's a certainty. Otherwise, we could easily see nobody coming in and get rid of Dewsbury Hall, maybe Chilwell if he agrees to go, something like that.
Perfect. Thank you very much for the interview.
Thank you very much. Pleasure.